Hello everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining me for another one of my cooking videos. I hope you enjoyed some of the other ones I've made. I do appreciate your support. So today what we're going to make some delicious fried fish. Now some people hear the word fried, they say, oh, that's not healthy. Well, believe me, this is going to be pretty healthy because it'll be using extra light olive oil, which is really not too expensive. I happen to use Italian version, but I use the extra light because of the fact that it doesn't burn very easily. And we'll talk more about that later. So this is a recipe I've been working on for many, many years, and I really like it. And most of the people I think who tried it really love it as well. So let's cook. Up with about a cup of flour. To that, we're going to add maybe a half a teaspoon of salt, just a little salt, because working with fish has its own natural salt. You want too much salt. I'm also going to add about a quarter cup of cornstarch. Now, this is not as fussy as baking, so there we go. That's pretty close. The idea with the cornstarch is the cornstarch actually helps us get a nice crispy batter, and we love that. I'll also add a little bit of pepper. If you don't like to see the black spots, you can use white pepper. Although white pepper does have a little bit different taste. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little black pepper in there, just give it a little extra taste. And what we'll do is get those dry ingredients mixed up together a little bit. Into that, I'm just going to add a can of beer. Now, there's no particular beer that I say is better necessarily than other. If you want a little more flavor, you can use a stout. But just be careful with the ones that are higher alcohol content because it will make your batter much thinner. So I found that regular lager going as a nice beer, has a pretty good flavor, not too overpowering. Just going to add that right into our dry ingredients, kind of mix it up. Now we're going to end up with something that is pretty thin. And what I've found is if the batter is too thick, we get something that's really doughy and on the outside. We don't want it. We want a nice thin batter. So as you can see, this is a pretty thin batter. Now from experience, this is actually a little bit too thin for me. So this is where the eyeball test comes into play. So experience. So if you see if it's too thin, you can add a little more flour, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Add about maybe a couple, 3 tablespoons of more flour. Now we got it's what we're looking for. Okay, so that's about the consistency you're looking for. Still pretty thin, but not too watery. And we obviously don't want to mix our batter because that will, as we do with the bread, making bread, start to develop gluten strands and make it a batter too tough. We don't want that. So while our batter is kind of sitting here waiting for our fish, let's talk about the fish a little bit. Today I'm going to use cod. You can use any fish you like. And ideally you want to try and get some nice fresh cod from the supermarket. But where I am right now, it's kind of hard for me to find fresh cod. So I've been buying frozen, which I would never have done in the past, but I've found just because there's no other source, I tried it out and it actually comes out really good with the fish and chips. Just make sure it's thawed. If it's frozen, it's thawed thoroughly. And you have some pieces that aren't too thick. So use maybe about 3 or 4 ounce portions that I'm going to be working with today. I'm also going to fry them in light olive oil. Now, I'm not really sponsoring this brand necessarily, but the idea is you want to get extra light olive oil because it's a very healthy oil. It also has a high flash point compared to other olive oils. You definitely don't want to use extra virgin because it's going to burn. And you definitely don't want to use seed oils if you're really trying to be health conscious because a lot of research is showing that seed oils like canola oil and other seed oils are just not healthy to eat. So we're going to just kind of be as healthy as possible. And besides, the olive oil tastes good too. So my oil is heating. Okay, before I fry the fish, what I like to do is I like to dry it off. Just kind of pat it dry, make sure there's no excess water. And you can even dust a little flour on the fish if you want to, just to make sure there's no water on the outside, because we want the batter to adhere to the fish the best possible. So these are looking pretty good. So we've got most of the water absorbed. And now we're going to check to see if the oil is hot enough. So we get a little closer, take a look at that oil. And we're not using too much. Not going to use too much. You just take a little bit of batter on your finger if you want, just kind of drop it into the oil and see what happens. And you can see that it comes right up to the top almost immediately. Looks like the oil is probably hot enough. And just to give you a gauge, we're about a little bit higher than medium heat. You don't want to start it off high, because what's going to happen is the fish will burn. It won't cook before it's done. So I'm going to just start taking some pieces. I actually, once I start adding the fish, especially if it's very cold, I am going to raise the temperature of oil just a little bit, just to be sure that the temperature doesn't go down too much. I'm just going to bring it right over the oil, just gradually kind of let it work its way into the oil like that. And we'll do probably 2 at a time. And this will probably take, I would say, no more than about 5 minutes. So I'm just going to let it ease. Watch your fingers. The oil's really hot. Ease into the oil so it doesn't stick to the bottom. So while the fish is cooking, it's a good idea to make sure it's not stuck to the bottom. Now it's been cooking now for a minute or two. I'm just going to gradually lift it and see it's not adhering to the bottom, which is what we want. That's beautiful. So now if the fish is cooking for a minute or two, it's a good idea to check it to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan. Just kind of gently lift it up. We can see that's doing very well. We can actually now at this point also gently lift it and turn it over. Notice I'm turning it away from myself. If I turn it towards myself, I could splash myself with the hot oil. We don't want to do that. And of course, looking really good. Sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling. I'm going to put the temperature down just a little bit. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. And we take a look at the fish. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to gently lift it up with some tongs and place it onto a rack so it doesn't get soggy. So now we're ready to add some more fish. Larger scale. I do it with a smaller pan because I don't want to use a lot of oil. And smaller pan, deep. The only thing is you just need to be careful not to fill it too much. I wouldn't fill it more than halfway because it can actually spill over the top and get all over your stove and make a big mess. We definitely don't want that. Put this one on a little bit. Just kind of push a little oil on top of that one because it's sticking out of the oil. We'll let these ones go also. About the same amount as last time. When they come off, and you want to do that almost right away so the salt sticks to the batter. Good. Okay. These pieces are looking really nice. Okay, so our fish is all cooked off. I'm going to have the most important part of this activity is we get to try it. Look at that. Does that look beautiful? So let's see how it tastes. Well, I'm going to slice of lemon. I like a little lemon with my fish. We make some wedges for that, and sort of, we would put this on a platter for our guests. We could just kind of sprinkle a few of these nice lemon wedges. So I'm just going to kind of grab a piece. We're going to go rustic today. Oh, look at that. Nice, crispy and flaky. And of course, we have to put a little bit of lemon juice just to kind of give it a little more flavor. The batter is so light and airy and crunchy. The fish is delicious. Nice and moist inside, not overcooked. So I hope you have an opportunity to try this recipe. As you can see, it's very easy to make, easy to prepare, and fairly economical, especially if you buy the frozen cod, which again is not my first choice, but still very good just the same. Bye for now, and God bless.